This is outrageous. This is not likely to have happened. How crazy does it get on these super yachts? And if this is in there and it didn't happen, maybe the other stuff didn't happen. Kind of like a little psyop. I cracked the fucking code. I cracked the code. This Epstein file stuff, which I'm not really very concerned about. Not because I don't think it's awful, abhorrent, and fucking evil, and I feel compassion for the victims. I feel compassion and empathy for most people in this world, because so many people get trodden on in order for the Western world to live a nice life. But that's a whole other subject. The reason it's not having a huge effect on me is because I'm not surprised. Like, oh, big shock. People with lots of money are fucking awful and are using and abusing people. What did shock me is I saw some slides and people were sharing it. For one, people are sharing photos of victims, which I think is pretty fucked. I think if you really want to go and look at the photos, go and look yourself if you need to see that. I don't want to see it on a carousel on Instagram. I think that's really insensitive and unnecessary. On some of these carousels, I've seen some of the files and I was just like, hang on a minute. Some of this stuff sounds like it's been put in there to discredit the rest of it. Some of this stuff sounds like it's meant to be not taken serious. And I basically shared that opinion, and someone, okay, just a hot girl that I followed for a long time and maybe hit on, really just think she's like one of the hottest women I've ever seen in my entire life, replied and was like, girl, stop. I was like, come on, you can't think that this really happened. Like, this seems like it was put in there to discredit the legitimate proof of abuse. And then I noticed that she didn't reply. It was because she removed me as a follower. I don't think she blocked me, but she just like got rid of me. I was like, oh fuck, like, you're so needing to be on the right side of everything that any discussion or opposition to a blanket agreement on something is not allowed. And I thought that that was really fucking stupid. I then had a conversation with someone who was open to having a little chat about it. And then it started to make sense. And I was having a conversation with this nice person that I don't know very well, but seems like they have a pretty good grasp of critical thinking, very left-leaning, but not like drinking the Kool-Aid no matter what. Just like wanting to have a critical, observant, questioning view of even their own beliefs, right? That's the vibe. And they said, after this dude was arrested, the FBI opened up a tip line. And in the files that were released the other day is a whole bunch of these tips from the tip line. Unverified, random tips. They could be from anyone and everyone. And then it started to make sense. These files were designed to be included, so they sounded so ridiculous that everything else got questioned. Like, I fucking knew it. But my point is not that. My point is, I wish people used in general a little bit more critical thinking, and I wished especially that people that were a little more left-leaning or left of centre would be a little bit more objective in the way they approach the information silo that they are also in. You know, people judge each other's side for being like, oh, they're so dumb, they're just convinced of this and they're convinced that they're right. So are you. My brother full of microplastics, so are you. We all are. We are all in our own little bubbles of information. We all have to assume a little bit of personal and social bubble information bias. Most of us are not interacting with people who have polar opposite views from us. Most of us are not consuming media that has the polar opposite view of us. And the left has become, not to say like left and right, but the left has become really, really anal about not questioning, because they really want to err on the side of fucking caution, which I get. You know, we are kind of the side that wants a little bit more rights for everyone, everything to be a little bit more equal, things to be a little bit kinder. You know, that's what I think is the core of my like political stance. But I also am aware that some of the ideas of leftist politics aren't great for small businesses, aren't great for entrepreneurs, aren't great for some of the things that I think deserve a further look in. There's parts of political lean that I have that I think, I'm not 100% on that. I don't know. I want to question it. I want to ask. And that's become impossible, because if you question something, you automatically are against it. Not with us, you're fully against us. And people throw statistics around so much that it becomes so impossible to have a discussion based on your own feelings, because they're sure that their statistics are right. The reason I'm going on this little rabbit hole is because this has been on my mind for a long time, for many, many topics. It's something I talk about in private with people that I know and trust. It's a topic that is super sensitive online. It's something that people don't want to venture into because they don't want to get cancelled. I also don't think I'm educated enough to have a public opinion on a lot of stuff. I don't have the need to get that opinion out there on many things. Other things, yes, I have opinions that need to be heard and that deserve to be heard. But on some of this like really important stuff, like I like to talk about it, I like to think about it, I like to challenge my mind, I like to talk to people that have opposing views to me. I like to try to read or consume a little bit of the counter arguments of stuff purely because I don't want to be I want to be an emu with my head in the sand, believing that I'm right because all my friends are leftists and what we all believe in is pure and true. I think that we need to be brave with ourselves. We need to be brave with our comrades, our amigos, our amigas, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and not judge them for wanting to fucking have critical thought, because that is a good thing to have. You're allowed to question parts of stuff, and it doesn't mean that you've switched sides. It actually means that you're doing due diligence on the information that you're allowing to influence your political, personal, medical, spiritual views and how you live your life and how life lives within you and how you react to things. This is my 2 fucking cents, which was a very long 2 cents.